Together on the Couch, the show that tests the bounds of taste and decency, only to discover that they were actually put there for a very good reason. Oh, what a brilliant week Fake Week was, wasn't it? We had a fake housemate, fake tasks, fake rule breaks and punishments, fake message, albeit pulled by a real plane, and to top it all off, Charlie's fake eviction. But tonight, we're going to keep it real as we bring you the God's honest truth about the intricate workings of the brains that live inside our housemates' heads. So, here's what's in store for your eyes to watch tonight. Big Brother's been faking it all week, but how can you tell if someone is lying to you? We've a crash course in how to tell if someone's pants are on fire.
They like me out there, I can't believe it!
Charlie is the first housemate on the planet to be evicted and go immediately back in again. We dissect the impact on her and the house.
Ah!
What? What? That's not...
Oh my God!
Shh.
Hang on.
What you don't say can be just as revealing as what you do. We give housemates the silent treatment in tonight's diary room experiment.
I'm going to sit here all day looking up in my bed.
I can't sit down in this chair with no one speaking to me, not speaking about me. I can't.
And how would you cope living under 24-hour surveillance? We reveal how our housemates deal with the stress of life in the house. I'm guessing not very well.
I hear things, I see things, and I don't like some of it.
It's awful to laugh, but she's quite funny when she does that, isn't it? OK, so Big Brother's been telling lies all week. It's been great, hasn't it?
Pauline, the public have been voting for the housemate that they want to send to the Big Brother house in the United Kingdom.
The Australian delicacy in front of you is either duck-billed platypus eggs or crocodile semen paste.
I just want to say hi to everybody. No hard feelings, I'm really seeing a Big Brother house.
Are they onto me?
Some suspicion.
Oh, I know, it's suspicion central, isn't there? He could be someone on a secret mission.
3/4 of the housemates love her, but then you've got a few people that are still like, yeah, I think she might be an actress and everything. Yeah.
Oh, what's this? Least fake, most fake. Oh, this is going to be so interesting.
Nothing against you, right?
Your shopping tat was working out that Pauline was a fake housemate played by an actress.
We don't get fooled again.
God, what's going on, guys? Where's the cheers, man?
Charlie, do you want to go back into the house?
Hell yeah.
Follow me.
When I went in the audience, there's loads of people there, and then when you come out again, there's thousands all chanting my name, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie.
Did you see the rest of the housemates going, really? Really? Now, when Charlie went back into the house, within moments, she was wildly exaggerating what had happened to her outside, and if only the housemates had psychophysiologist Dr. Harry Witchell to reveal how to spot when someone is lying. Hi, Harry.
Hello, Denise.
How are you?
Brilliant. It's been a fantastic week. It's been absolutely fantastic
so exciting.
for me. Yeah,
so exciting.
Really great.
So listen, how can you tell when somebody's lying?
Right, well, lying is when you believe that what you're saying isn't true. So it doesn't matter whether it's true or false, might be either.
Right.
But the important thing is what you believe, because your beliefs will spill over into your emotions, and your emotions will leak into your body language.
Right. So you won't be able to cover it up because you think you're lying.
Yes.
OK. So what should we be looking for body language-wise?
Well, what we're really looking for is inappropriate emotions, okay? So when people are telling lies, they might feel anxiety, okay, because they're worried about...
Yeah.
They're quite worried that they might be caught out. They might feel guilt because they know.
I love the way your eyebrows were acting there.
Yeah, a little bit of that. If they feel guilt, okay, it's because they know it's wrong. They might also feel confusion.
Oh, good.
There's a long pauses and stuff.
Yes.
Because they're trying to setting up the lie in their head. And they might also have something called duper's delight, which is where they smile and laugh uncontrollably because it's so much fun pulling the wool over somebody's eyes.
So it's someone being a bit cocky.
Yeah.
So is it true that, you know, people do the old, because I've always thought, you know, if you look to the left, you're lying, or if you rub your nose, or I just picked my nose then, but I meant to rub it. You know, that kind of thing, or ear rubbing. Is that, can you tell if somebody's lying from that, or not really?
So there are a lot of misconceptions about lies.
Oh, right.
And those are, so yes, touching one's mouth, fiddling with one's ear, looking around, shifty, not being able to gaze in someone's eyes. Those are all things that would demonstrate lying in a small child or someone who is completely incompetent in lying.
Rubbish.
But science has shown with adults, healthy adults, okay, they actually touch their face less when they're lying, and when they're actually telling the truth, they're more likely to touch their face. They touch less because they're trying to suppress all of the giveaway maneuvers of their hands. So what you were really looking for here is when the body language doesn't match up with what they say, when they're incongruent.
OK, well, let's have a look at some footage then. We're going to have a look at some housemates to analyse how their body language is giving away when they're lying. So how did you approach the experiment?
So we had, this was a fabulous opportunity for an experiment. Originally, before the guys went in, the housemates went in, we actually had footage of them when they were telling the truth and when they were lying specifically, so that we could calibrate what they look like when telling the truth, what they look like when telling a lie. And that's really important for good liars. You don't really need that for crummy liars. And so we have these, now we have all this footage and we can tell the difference. This week, we bring a few people into the diary room and ask them similar but very provocative questions, and ask them in one case to tell the truth and in one case to tell the lie. And the answers were surprising, to say the least.
OK, well, let's have a quick look at Charlie.
Yep.
In the diary room. And Big Brother asked her if she thought she was the most popular female in the house. And Big Brother asked Charlie to answer the question truthfully. No, truthfully, Charlie.
I could be the most popular female in the house, where I'm hated the most popular female, but I don't think anyone will forget me, so I think I'm quite popular. Just for the simple fact as well, I just get on with everybody. I'm never in a certain group. Some people perform groups, which they have done, and I'm never in a group. I can't do it. I just get bored really easy, and I mingle from group to group. And everyone likes me. They laugh at me and everything like that. Not laugh at me, but they laugh with me and stuff. And I just feel popular, because I'm kind of like centre of attention.
So, I mean, actually, she's, you know, I would expect her to think that she was the most gorgeous. So was she telling us the truth or not?
Charlie lies to herself, okay?
To herself?
To herself a lot. And she's desperately trying to believe her lies. But because she's got this positive view of the world, Charlie's world or whatever, she's always trying to explain that and put that out. Now, you can, through body language, tell when she's lying. So there she's going on about how she's really the most popular, but she gives herself away with the international pain in the neck pose. So if we go back there, here she's got a pain in the neck, just as she's saying, everyone gets along with me. Right.
Yeah, right.
Very likely. Very
no.
Okay. And then the second time, she's got a pain in the neck. She says, everyone laughs at me. She's fine on that. And then she says, oh no, everyone laughs with me. Again, pain in the neck.
Oh, so she said laughed at me, and then she corrected herself.
When she corrected herself, she had to tell a lie, and she has a little bit of a hot spot back here.
Ah, OK. Well, listen, Charlie has been, as we know, fibbing mercilessly about her fake eviction since she went back into the house. So let's have a quick look at Charlie when she re-entered the house on Friday.
Did you see the signs for me?
No.
Wow.
What happened?
Oh my God, yeah.
Sit down,
Signs with
sit down,
my face
sit down.
on it, yeah.
No.
All billboards like that, yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Brilliant.
The woman is genius. I mean, unbelievable. The guts. Is it guts? I don't know. What's she doing there?
Well, she's it's selective attention. So she's only remembering certain things that were positive, a tiny number of the crowd.
But there were tiny amounts of positive out there. It was very negative.
The rest of it, she sort of embellishes, if you like.
Yeah.
But you can tell through the body language that actually she's not crazy. She's not delusional. She does know what's going on. When she says, I love you all out there, this is just for the cameras, and she's doing the jubilant gesture,
yeah,
but if you look at her face, there's not jubilation.
No.
And her voice tone, that's pure anger. It's fury. But it only comes through in her body language. The rest of it, as far as she's concerned, it's Charlie's world. Everything's positive. That's what she wants.
Does she end up believing what she's saying?
I think in the long run, she probably will. At some level, she's trying to believe it, and at a deep level, she knows what's going on.
Well, it's working wonders on the housemates.
They're convinced. And so it actually demonstrates it's a useful strategy.
Exactly. She's doing well. Anyway, the next housemate we tested was Ziggy. So Big Brother called him to the dining room and told him to answer this truthfully. So let's have a look.
Ziggy, are you the most attractive male in the house? And if so, why?
I would say... between myself and Liam. But then Brian's a good-looking chap as well. So I wouldn't say. I can tell you, I think it'll be between three of us.
It's like the whole audience were like, So what was going on there?
So I think our audience pretty much twigged to that he was not revealing the truth of what was going on in his mind. So we've asked him to tell the truth, and even still, he tells a lie. There are a lot of things about what he did that gives him away. The most important is this long pause right at the beginning.
Let's have a look at that.
Okay.
Ziggy, are you the most attractive male in the house? And if so, why?
I would say... between myself and Liam.
That was agony.
So it turns out Ziggy knows his own mind. He's actually, generally speaking, he's a very critical guy, very negative. When he says things that are strictly positive, usually he's spinning out a line, very effective for young women. In this case, he knows that if he says what he believes, which is, I'm the most attractive, people will think he's a prat. It takes him 7 seconds to put together in his head a really plausible answer. And the reason it takes so long is because Ziggy is actually a very bad liar, really crap.
He's in a lose-lose situation there, though, because if he told us the truth, we'd think he was a prat. And if he told us a lie, which he did that, he'd be on this programme and we'd be telling everybody that he's telling a lie. What other evidence is there to support the fact that he's lying?
Well, I think the audience saw at the very end of the clip, he actually covers up his face. He does one of these sorts of things, very hiding.
Yes.
And that was
hair
actually...
and then face, wasn't it?
And a lot of that is associated with the term, it's between the three of us. But he doesn't, he doesn't think it's between the three of us. He actually knows who's the best looking, which is him.
Yeah.
And he actually says it best himself when he says, I couldn't, and then corrects himself and says, I wouldn't say. Because that's the truth. He really does know he mustn't say. That he's very canny.
OK, our next little guinea pig is Liam. So Big Brother asked him to answer his question with a lie. Let's have a look.
Liam, do you think you are the most popular male in the house? And if so, why?
Yeah, I think I'm the most popular housemate in the house. Just basically because, you know, I haven't had any arguments with anybody. I haven't bickered with anybody. I haven't had said any smart-ass remarks to anybody. I've washed up, cleaned all the windows, emptied all the bins.
But he's quite hard to read. I wasn't kind of seeing anything there. He doesn't kind of move.
We're looking for incongruity. He starts with the words, yeah, I'm the most popular housemate. He says it like a robot.
Yeah.
No joy there. And that's because he's actually a very good liar.
Right.
So and the way he does that is by completely controlling his emotions. Now, the interesting thing is, face, pretty good, hands, but the most honest part of his body is his feet. Body language experts actually generally think the feet are most honest because when people rehearse lies, they use their face, they rehearse with their face, they rehearse with their hands, but no one ever thinks to rehearse with their feet. Right. He's got all this foot action. Look at him. He's out there, just loads of
touching,
touching.
Squeezing.
He's got itchy feet So he's very uncomfortable. He's thinking, oh, I'd like to move on.
He's suppressing all that dishonesty down.
Right there, right in the
down,
bottom.
right down. Anything else you noticed with him?
Essentially just that he's such a good liar because he's actually got his face totally masked on that. I don't know if he might be telling lies in the house, and now and then we never find him.
Brilliant. I don't have any of these problems with my children because I can just tell. They're like blank canvases, my kids. Thank you so much. Harry! Still to come, how not to lose your marbles when you're living in the Big Brother house. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. You're watching Big Brother on the Couch, the show that ventures bravely into the unknown vortex that is the housemate's cerebral cortex. Okay, now before the housemates enter the house, they're warned that it's designed to be a living, breathing pressure cooker. Well, works then, doesn't it?
I want to go home. I don't even like these people.
I'm going insane in here. I really am.
Oh, can't cope. It stresses me out that people get stressed.
I'm losing the plot here.
I'm coping.
I don't know if I could cope 2 more weeks.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. I cannot just deal with it.
This is just mental.
I hear things, I see things, and I don't like some of it.
You can't do this to us.
No!
I'm calm down, please stay away from the place.
No, I'm not doing it. I didn't do that.
Well, you know, no one could argue. It is stressful in there. But what are the best ways to cope? So here to reveal the psychology of dealing with the pressures that come with living in the Big Brother house is psychotherapist Aaron Balick. Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
OK, so we kind of know what coping is, but what's the psychological meaning of it?
Okay, the best way to look at coping is to think about your ego. Now, if you don't know what an ego is, yes, the big ego and the small ego. But really simply, the ego is just the part of you that's the I. You know, how you identify yourself. Yes, me. Yeah. How I see myself in the world. And the ego's kind of out there, surrounded by what we call objects. And objects can be things, they can be ideas, and they can be other people. Okay, so it's the interaction between the ego and the objects.
Right.
Now, if there's a bad object out there, say an object that says something nasty about you or perhaps puts you up for eviction or nominates you, your ego doesn't feel so happy about this, so it has to defend itself. And this is called a defense mechanism, an ego defense.
So what sort of... I mean, you called it an ego defense. We'd probably call it coping mechanisms or whatever. What ones are you seeing in the house?
The main ones that we're seeing in the house at the moment are regression, rationalization, and passive aggression. Now, lots of people will display lots of different of these coping mechanisms, and they kind of overlap a bit, but characters do sort of prefer some to others, and that's what we're going to be looking at.
OK, well, let's kick off with regression.
OK.
So what is regression? And why do people use it?
Okay. Basically, when your ego gets kicked in the butt sometimes, it regresses back really far to an earlier developmental age, okay? So like the worst kind of regression would be kind of curling up in a ball and crying. It's a very primitive defense, and it can actually disable people in the house sometimes, so you have to be quite careful with regression.
Okay, well, let's have a look at some housemates that use regression.
I'll just be a moment. Όχι, μου αρέσει να μιλάμε λίγο πολύ, μαμά. Δεν σ' αντέχω όταν σου μιλάω κανονικά. Αλλά μου έχεις λείψει κι εσύ. Πάρα πολύ. Πάρα πολύ.
Everyone outside's gonna hate me!
Chanel, do you really think that everybody in the house hates you?
Yes!
I mean, watching Jerry there is so sweet. I mean, it is for me, it is like watching a little boy, isn't it?
Yes, because only a little boy can think to pick up a plastic fish phone and talk to his mother on the other end of it.
Or as Chanel would call it, fish food.
Fish phone.
Fish food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's basically reaching out to his mummy.
Yeah, he's looking for a good object. You know, he doesn't feel like there are a lot of good objects in the house at the moment, so he kind of regresses enough to be able to use the neutral object of the telephone to pick it up and connect with someone who will understand him and will love him and make him feel really positive and good.
And he's doing it in Greek.
This is the really interesting thing. I mean, the straightforward approach would be say, well, he would speak to Greek to his mother anyway.
Yeah.
But actually, in a regressed state, lots of people sometimes go to their mother tongue anyway. If he's speaking from the perspective of a 4 or 5-year-old, he's going to use Greek because it's closer to his heart in a sense.
Oh, and what about Chanel? I mean, Chanel, you know, I have said this before, she is quite funny when she goes, because it's sort of watching a grown woman do a tantrum, isn't it?
Yes, and it is a temper tantrum.
But is this good for her? Because it looks agony.
Yeah, it is agony, and it wouldn't be so good for her to do it in the house in front of a lot of people. But the good thing about it is she gets to sort of encounter these feelings in the safety of the diary room and kind of expel quite a few of them.
All right, so I mean, it's a safe place for her to go and regress.
It's a safe place, yeah, but she's regressing into what we call the paranoid schizoid position.
Is that not good? That doesn't sound great.
It's not brilliant, no, but it's also something that all of us do, okay? When you have a bad day at work or one particular bad thing happens and then suddenly the whole world seems like it goes really dark and everything's really bad. She had a bad argument with Ziggy, he rejected her, she goes into the paranoid schizoid position, and it's like the whole world is bad, everyone's bad.
So actually, it's not a position like that.
No.
It's a position in your head.
That's right, it's a psychological position.
Right, and so it's something where everything is awful.
Yes. So she believes in this moment that everyone in the house hates her, and even when the grown-up voice of Big Brother says, can that be true?
She's not hearing it.
She can't hear it because
so
she's like
true.
a 2-year-old. She can't hear that, you know, it's an appeal to a grown-up part of her that she has no access to there.
Wow, brilliant. That's so brilliant. Okay, let's talk rationalization.
Okay.
What's that about and why do we use it?
Okay, rationalization is a little bit more of a sophisticated sort of a defense. And what it does is it just basically distracts you from a feeling, a bad feeling, usually something you've done wrong. You justify yourself out of feeling badly.
Okay, let's see who's doing that in the house.
It doesn't surprise me that we're both up at all, not one little bit. You've got to think about it, yeah? Look at them, look at that circle, yeah? We're not really in that circle. You and Chanel don't like each other. Me, probably because you and Chanel don't like each other and I'm your friend.
She's a needy girl, and I'm not at the stage, you know, at the moment to be in a situation like that. We both understood that it was the right choice. You know, it's we're in here for fun, and we're in here to enjoy ourselves. I think she should be thankful. You know, she stopped it where we could.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get on to Ziggy in a minute. I'm chomping at the bit. But let's start off with Nikki, who actually made us both giggle there because she was massively rationalising it. Nothing to do with her.
Absolutely. You know, again, from the ego perspective, her ego wants to have nothing to do with the fact that people nominated her because something she might be like or something she's done.
Maybe.
Absolutely not. So she comes up with this rationalization. She said, oh, it must be the group dynamics. It must be you know, and then it's because I'm friends with Charlie. That's why I've been up for a nomination.
Yes, obviously I've associated myself with her. But can we please move on to Ziggy?
We can, of course.
Please, because really, he's dumped Chanel, which is, you know, it's okay. These things happen in real life. But he's trying to make it look like it was something to do with her.
Yeah, Ziggy really can't be the bad guy in this one, and that's what his rationalization is about.
He's really frightened of being the bad guy, isn't he?
I think so. You know, it's really important for him to appear good, you know, and to be the good guy, and so much that he's got to rationalize himself as, you know, a whole load of reasons why they should have broken up, and then, you know, to top it all off, that Chanel's going to be thankful for it.
Yeah. Oh, she's going to be really pleased that we did it, you know. OK, now listen, you've picked a clip of Charlie rationalising in the diary room after being told off by Big Brother for throwing water at Jerry. So let's have a look at that.
Big Brother considers your behaviour to be provocative and unacceptable.
We do it to each other all the time, Big Brother. Hang on, he done it back to me as well, which also I understand, but he done it to me as well, Big Brother. It wasn't as if I was, like, attacking him in any way. I just chucked water on to cool it down and make a laugh out of it. I think just because we have loads of water fights in his house, I didn't think he'd take it seriously. So I went to the tap, run water, and I actually thought he'd find it funny. I didn't think he'd take it as a serious insult to him. And I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to be evil to someone or something, but I really didn't think it was that serious. I just thought it was a bit of fun. I have read the rule book very much, but I didn't realise it said, do not chuck water on a fellow housemate. I didn't realise.
Charlie, is there anything else?
Pretty clear, huh?
Just see Big Brother's like, come on. That's unbelievable.
It's really incredible. She actually has the most sophisticated use of this defense, coming up with 13 reasons why she will not be responsible, why she will not have done something wrong.
But does that mean that she's not feeling that punishment at all. She hasn't taken it on board, it hasn't touched her, so she'll leave the diary room and she'll be oblivious.
Absolutely. She paid some lip service to it
Right.
and then apologized and then sort of rationalized herself out of any responsibility for it and kind of went happily along.
And her apology means nothing because it's always immediately followed with but.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's not responsible.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they tell her off for nominating all the time. She still goes straight back and does it, so she's obviously just not listening.
She's not a great learner.
OK, passive aggression. What's
Okay.
that all about?
Passive aggression is usually employed by people who are pretty bad at direct conflict. So they still have the anger, they can't confront people about it, so they kind of push it underground and it comes out in other ways that usually sabotages situations.
That really annoys me.
It's an annoying trait.
It's very annoying. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Let me wash my underarms.
Good move.
What?
Good move.
Can't hear.
Good move.
You want to pipe down a little bit, young lady?
Sketchy people me off, and I'm living with a few of them. Me off. That's all right.
So, Ziggy and Chanel, that was post-breakup, and they were having a chat, weren't they?
That's right.
And he's trying to be, you know, all friendly because basically he did the splitting up.
He's trying to be the good guy again.
Yeah,
in a
again.
sense. She's not happy with it, so she's doing what lots of people will be familiar with, which is the relationship sulk. She's saying, I'm really, really angry with you. I can't quite say that, so I'm going to sit here and make you pay for it by taking little bites at you, you know, as much as I can.
OK, hands up in the audience, who's done that? Yeah, quite a few hands went up there. Yeah. OK, so there I was saying passive-aggressive, I hate it, but I think that's quite common in relationships.
Well, this is the
isn't it?
thing. This is the thing that we all do. And what's ironic about this clip is when Ziggy says, I can't, or he doesn't hear her saying this.
What?
Yeah.
Selective hearing.
He's not hearing that she's angry.
What about quickly Tracy? What's she doing? She's doing it on her own. She's being passive-aggressive alone.
Yeah, she's doing victimless passive aggression.
That's good, isn't it?
It is good because it's very contained. She's really angry. She's not kind of much of a saboteur, so she goes in the room, she has it out, talks herself right, you know, it's going to be all right, and leaves it behind.
Well done, Trace. Thank you very
Not
much
bad.
to Aaron. Thank you. Still to come tonight, why Big Brother sent the housemates to Coventry. I'll see you in a sec. Welcome back. You're watching Big Brother on the couch. Now, it's the part of the show where we ferret around inside our housemates' minds to unearth their inner workings. And here to reveal this week's brain experiment is clinical psychologist Cecilia De Felice. How are you doing, Cecilia?
I'm great, thank you.
So what's this week's experiment and what are we trying to find out about our housemates from it?
Well, this week's experiment is quite a tricky one. We asked the housemates to come into the diary room. We told them that they were going to take part in a psychological experiment, and then we ignored them for 15 minutes.
But, you know, 15 minutes is ages, isn't it? Well, what were you trying to find out about them?
Well, it felt really bad doing this to them, but we did want to find out some key things, and there are three things we're looking for here. First of all, Freud's idea about the superego, which is this idea about an internalized parent that kind of tells you what all the rules are and what you should and shouldn't do. Now, we know that some people's internal parent can be very cruel and critical and nasty, so we're having a look at that. We're also looking at attachment styles. Attachment theorists are very interested in whether we're securely attached or whether we're insecurely attached, and we learn these attachment styles as children from our parents, and Big Brother very much represents a parent. It can take, it can give, it makes the rules up, it can reward them, it can punish them. So we're looking for that as well. And then very briefly, we're also looking at sort of evolutionary psychology, because in the face of not knowing, which is what happens to the housemates in this experiment, they've got no idea what's going on. Will they fight or flight, or will they become very curious and try and explore this new experience and get something from it?
All that from 15 minutes silence. I'm impressed. OK, so you chose a few key housemates to discuss. And first up, we've got Brian.
Brian.
The psychology experiment starts now.
What? What is it? What is it? You haven't told me I'm going to do something, it's an experiment, and you've not told me what it is. I was sleeping, you know. What is it? You're doing this to me because you know I'm hyperactive, you know I can't sit still without talking to anyone or anything like that. Is that why you're doing this to me? I Okay, you annoy me, I annoy you. Oh, no, song that get on your nerves, get on your nerves, get on your... Oh, no, song that get on your nerves all day long. Okay, I'm getting on my own nerves now. Will you talk to me, please? This is just out of order. You can't just lock me in a diary and not talk to me. You're still not talking... Oh, my days. What is the... You've got problems. Big brother, you have issues. This is all I can say, is that you have issues. Like, why would you lock me in a diary and not talk to me? Because you're just full of all your issues. Like the fact that you lock us out of rooms and... Oh. At the moment, big brother, you're acting like quite a bad landlord. We have a shopping list. We order booze on the shopping list. We don't get the booze for about 3 or 4 days. Thanks for the booze last night, though. That was all right. I got pretty drunk. You're actually insane. I'm sorry. I said you had issues, OK? You haven't really got issues.
The psychology experiment is now over.
Shut up.
It's quite, I wish you could be here because the audience here all found that so funny. I was laughing. I mean, he seems very sweet in that.
Oh,
but what's
wonderful.
going on there underneath all of
Brian
that?
is wonderful. First of all, he's the only housemate that challenges Big Brother. And so he says 3 times, what do you want me to do? What is going on here? Nobody else does that. Nobody else thinks
None
to
of them.
challenge Big Brother. No, it's extraordinary. So he really tries to take on authority. He's not afraid to say and question, what is going on here?
And so would you say, because I think that sometimes if somebody finds silence agonising, which he obviously does, that's possibly an insecurity, that they're not kind of happy just to sit with themselves in silence. Is he insecure, do you think?
Well, he sort of is demonstrating a little bit of that, because what he does with this 15 minutes is absolutely fill it up with Brian. He is extraordinary. He tries to maintain emotional contact with Big Brother throughout, and he does this in lots of different ways, by trying to irritate Big Brother, by trying to attack Big Brother, by trying to entertain Big Brother, by trying to, it's amazing.
Apologise.
And he does everything to try and maintain that emotional contact. And this is somebody who's very resourceful. This is, in fact, a coping strategy that's very resourceful, but it is very much about his need to have contact. He says at one point, I can't do this, Big Brother, help me. And Big Brother doesn't help. Very cruel. And then he lists all the cruel things that Big Brother has done to them that week. So he's not afraid to be emotionally honest and to tell it like it is
quite
for him.
secure.
Well, it's a sort of a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think he wants validation, he wants contact. He says to Big Brother, you're insane, quite a few times during this experiment. But at the end, he says, that drove me insane because I hate to be ignored. So he acknowledges in himself that need for validation, that need for reassurance.
OK, well, let's have a look at Chanel.
Yes.
Chanel, the psychology experiment starts now.
Oh, have you told me to do something? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. I'm really confused. What did you tell me to do? I'm really sorry. What did you tell me to do? I'll do some actions for you. I just need to start listening to instructions. I'm so sorry, I've messed it up for you. Whoops. But don't give me the silent treatment. Oh my goodness, I think I'm like dead but alive at the same time. Alright then, fine. If you're not going to listen to me, I can talk about what I want. So I'll tell you some stuff. I want... these gorgeous sandwiches that my mum makes in these gorgeous breads. And then, for dessert, I would like a lemon cheesecake with a crumbly, like a biscuity bottom.
Chanel,
Oh, yeah?
the psychology experiment is now over.
Oh.
I'd like some of the lemony thing with the crumbly bottom,
Yum, yum.
please. What was going on there? She was quite funny in parts.
Chanel is very interesting in this experiment because she starts off by really not knowing what's going on, and in the absence of any feedback, she sort of becomes very distressed.
Yeah.
And what she then does is she says this really interesting thing about feeling like she's dead but alive. And I think at that point she's telling us that she's been emotionally killed off because she's not getting any feed from Big Brother. She's getting nothing. And what she does next is fascinating because she then starts to repair that by feeding herself. She starts talking about all the delicious things that she loves to eat.
Food,
and she actually goes through, we don't see it, but she goes through breakfast, lunch, tea, all the things that her mum makes. So this goes on for some time. She's literally filling herself up with good things to try and repair that feeling of being abandoned and rejected.
So is she different from Brian then with her relationship to authority?
She is, because Brian is prepared to question authority and say, what the hell's going on here? But Chanel doesn't. What Chanel does is she turns it in on herself and she says, what have I done wrong? I've got this wrong. And at the end of the experiment, she actually says, I did that all wrong. Let me do it again so that I can do it right. And I think this tells us a little bit about her superego function, that it's quite critical, and it tells her that she's doing things wrong when in fact she isn't. And it explains a little bit why she can't cope with Charlie, because Charlie's like an externalized, really cruel, really critical superego who's always telling everyone off and telling them what's wrong with them. And Chanel just can't deal with that because in a way she's not dealing with her own feelings about her own internal authority that's telling her off and telling her that she's wrong.
So does this diary room visit tell us anything about her relationship with Ziggy?
Well, I think it does a bit, because what we see in that relationship is that if Chanel dares to criticise Ziggy or question him in any way, he becomes like a father and tells her off. And she goes away feeling very wounded and hurt. But very quickly we see her coming back for reassurance. She's always going back to Ziggy for reassurance.
So it's
they have a sort
father-child
of
thing,
it does become a parent-child relationship.
Do they last?
Well, I think they're very problematic because parents get fed up with parenting. They want an adult-to-adult relationship.
Well, we've seen that with him.
And the child doesn't develop and grow, and so they get frustrated as well.
Very quickly, Nikki, because she had a very interesting result, didn't she?
Yes, she did. There she is. I mean, look at poor Nikki. Now, this is on the day of the evictions, and it feels to me as though Nikki is very depressed. I think she feels very bad about things. She doesn't feel like she's really contributed.
And it's fetal.
She's totally in the fetal position. She is distressed. She actually gets off the chair and goes onto the floor. She tries to hide. She wants to disappear. She starts making these moaning noises. It's really very upsetting.
It's sad.
It is sad.
She's still in there.
She's still in there, and hopefully
still
she's
in
going to
there.
be in a better place, and we'll see a better side of Nikki.
Fingers crossed. Yes. OK, thank you so much. Cecilia.
Pleasure.
So next up, the short-term, medium-term and long-term effects of Friday's fake evictions. So I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Big Brother on the Couch. Now, last week's fakery and downright tomfoolery culminated in one of Big Brother's most surreal stunts ever, Charlie's fake eviction. And here's a reminder of what happened on Friday. This is Davina. I can now reveal that the fifth person to be evicted from the Big Brother house is... Charlie! Charlie, you have been evicted.
God, what's going on, guys? Where's the cheers, man? What the hell's going on?
Charlie.
Oh my God!
Hang on. Charlie, Big Brother would like to know if you would do anything differently if you had your time again.
I would do everything differently. I'd probably fade in the background, be quiet, and just not argue back, just think before I talk, really.
Big Brother has something to tell you. This has been a fake eviction.
Meaning?
You are still a housemate. We are going back into the house.
Oh no, you expect me to be a nice person. That's
Charlie, do you want to go back into the house?
Hell yeah. You lot, I swear to God, they like me out there. I can't believe it.
Such a mad night. Joining me now to discuss the ramifications of all that are behavioural psychologist Joe Hemmings and columnist for The Independent, Johan Hari. Johan, I'm going to kick off with you.
Yeah.
What do you think are going to be the immediate sort of ramifications of Charlie going back into the house and the effect on the housemates?
Well, I think the whole fake week is going to have a really interesting effect, because the one thing that comes up every year in Big Brother, no matter who the contestants are, no matter how different they are, is the one thing they prize above everything else are people being genuine. The worst thing you can ever say about someone in Big Brother is that they're fake.
Yes.
Actually, that's quite a weird morality. If you think about it, we don't apply that in our everyday lives. You know, if someone sits opposite me on the bus and says, you know, oh, you're a fat heifer or something, that might be very genuine, but it would also be very nasty. If someone sat opposite me and said, wow, you look really nice today, that might be fake, but it would actually be a nice thing to do. Often we consider
in society
fake things.
we do that.
Exactly, and if we weren't two-faced, which is the term that's always used on Big Brother, we'd be in a constant state of civil war. If we went around constantly saying to everyone exactly what we thought of them, we'd be Charlie. You know, so you can't do that. So although they constantly privilege things being genuine, that's the most important thing. It's going to be really disturbing for them if Big Brother itself is not genuine. Big Brother sometimes plays tricks, but Big Brother doesn't actually overtly lie to people.
So you're worried
that's
that
really
might continue on, even though fake week's finished, that they might not trust Big Brother anymore, and they really need to.
It's going to be very disconcerting
for cohesiveness.
to them.
Yeah, trust is a big issue now. They can only really trust him in a limited way now, rather than intrinsic trust. Intrinsic trust is where, you know, our family and our friends, and they do what they say they're going to do and repeat it. Big Brother is now becoming ever more unpredictable, and so they can only have a limited amount of trust in him.
What's the psychological impact going to be on Charlie?
Charlie is fantastic. Charlie is now invincible.
Yes.
She actually has gone back in that house. She has asked a couple of questions. Did you see such and such? And they said no. She's realised the limit of what the housemates have seen, and now she's literally doing a lap of honour. She's triumphant. She's got masses of power now. It's fantastic. She's really shifted it in her favour. She's embellished what is happening completely to her.
Is it going to last?
I think it'll last a while, because I think people are now they're nervous of her, they're slightly threatened by her. She's turned it round in such a spectacular way. She believes the public adores her. She's convinced others that the public adores her.
So she actually believes that herself. It's not to try and win the housemates round. She really now believes it.
I don't think she does totally believe it, but she's allowing herself to believe it, and she's convincing others, and that's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
Because they believe it, they're starting to sort of allow her to believe it too.
It's true, and the way she describes it, I mean, she actually starts saying the crowd were carrying me, you know.
Yes, I mean, like, really,
they were throwing rose petals, they were sacrificing calves for me, you know. It's just going further and further. But I think what's very interesting about Charlie, in terms of whether she's going to change now, a lot of people are wondering, you know, having seen herself, will she suddenly have a moment of self-knowledge? I actually don't think Charlie is capable of changing her behaviour. I think if you look at Charlie, the best way to understand it is almost in a neuroscience way. I think she has if you did a brain scan of her, I think you'd find that she had a very underdeveloped frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is the part... darling. The frontal lobe is the part of the brain that basically controls your rational behaviour, anticipates how you'll look in the future...
Yeah, she's not great on that.
Yourself. She does have moments when you can see her frontal lobe kicking in. There was a bit where she was with Brian on the bed and she said, you know, why do I get so angry? Why do I act like this? But then, literally, 3 minutes later, she's screaming at someone, you know. So I think she's just... Her brain chemistry has developed this way, really, since she was a baby. And it's going to take a lot more than half an hour with you, wonderful that you are, Davina, to reprogram that.
Thanks for that little touch on the later. Johan, how are Jerry and Chanel going to take it? Because they're arch enemies, and we saw Chanel's face.
I think Jerry's going to be okay. Jerry is basically a very forgiving, laid-back person. It took nuclear strength provocation from Charlie to get Jerry angry. Yeah. And even before she was thrown out, he was actually being quite conciliatory. Yeah. He gave her his beer, and she was very grateful for that. Chanel is a totally different question. Chanel looked like she'd just been told that Posh Spice is watching Big Brother and really hates her. You know, she was absolutely gutted to see her go back in. I think the one comfort for Chanel is that what really got to her before Charlie left was seeing her pal up with Ziggy. That's quite unlikely to happen now that Charlie knows Ziggy nominated her.
Or is it?
Well, I think it could, because the other amazing thing about Charlie...
They might make up. I mean, they make up and break, you know,
Well, it's incredible. When you looked at the anger clips of her, what was incredible, who was she screaming at? Nikki, who she became really good friends with. Billy, who she became really good friends with.
I mean, I think tactically she's now got to become friendly with Chanel, and we'll see that happening. She will actually... She's got a brilliant way of turning things around, Charlie. When we saw Carol, she actually was in tears when... when Charlie was talking about her.
But I suppose everybody has been so frightened of her that when she is nice, it totally disarms you.
It does, and they want her to be nice. They want that harmony,
willing
basically.
Her.
They absolutely are willing her to do it.
Really frightening, her behaviour. I mean, if you think about it, that clip of her with Billy, she's literally in Billy's face like that. That's such a threatening and aggressive and frightening thing to happen.
Listen, very quickly, I just want to show you a clip of Charlie mildly exaggerating as she entered the house.
Did you see the signs for me?
No.
Wow! Oh my God, yeah. Signs with my face on it, yeah.
No.
All billboards like that, yeah. Oh my God. When I went in the audience, there's loads of people there, and then when you come out again, there's thousands all chanting my name, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. It was my show for the night, Charlie show, because guess what? You saw it anyway. They're all my fans out there, you lot.
There was one medium-sized banner. I was there, and it was "Get Charlie Out." And how did she do that? I mean, what impact is that going to have on the house?
Well, in terms of her saying all this, well, the thing is, she's now building herself position of power, so she's reinforcing what they don't really know. She's building it, embellishing it, creating, and they're buying it.
Is she going to get nominated?
I don't think she will, because I think they partly think it might be a wasted nomination because she's that popular with the public, and Chanel has said, oh, I know she's that popular, I know she is. Then why waste a nomination on somebody who simply isn't going to get evicted? So I think she's safe for a while.
But also I think there's another factor there. I think you're completely right. I think it's a wasted eviction, but I think also they're thinking, God, if she's really popular, I'm going to look bad for nominating her.
Right.
So they're going to be really nervous about that, and they're going to be reappraising. Constantly, if you're in that house, you're going to have a constant picture about how is the outside world viewing it. And most of them, in fact, Jerry has said, the people out there are going to hate you.
And we know Ziggy likes people-pleasing. He's not going to vote now.
Exactly.
Anyway, listen, thank you so much to Johan and Joe. That's it for tonight. Next week, more chat about brain stuff and housemates. Next on 4 Big Brother and all the fallout from Charlie's return to the house. Good night.